Just give me a few seconds.
Go ahead. No problem. No problem.
Good evening, everyone. You are listening to the Voice of Saskatoon, and I'm your radio host, Rashid Ahmed. And today we do have very exciting guest. Oh, sorry, there was a technical error because it was running on my computer too. So we do have exciting guests from actually Milwaukee, US today. And without any further delay, I will introduce my guest. So we do have Alhaj Hassiem Abdullah Babatu from Milwaukee, US. And he has been serving Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat as the director of outreach for the Milwaukee Jamaat, and he's very active member. He's doing a lot of activities which we want to learn today, because I have seen a lot of humanitarian work in his area, which is led by Hasim. And Hasim was also working with AT&T, which is a multinational company, for almost 33 years. And he has been with the Ahmadiyya Muslim community from last 13 years. Welcome, Hasim, to our show.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh. Rashid Ahmed Saab, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
Oh, by the grace of Allah and your prayers, I'm doing good. Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking.
Well, thank you. Thank you again for giving us the honor to talk with you today. And I have seen you that you have been involved in many volunteer activities too. So as Ramadan is going, I have seen some activities. So Hasim, tell us a little bit about the humanitarian work you have been doing so far in the month of Ramadan, and just share with us your thoughts.
Well, Ramadan being a month of fasting, a month in spiritual enlightenment and sacrifices all around the world. We believe, that it is the most beautiful celebration here in the Islamic community. I believe in all of communities in the world, period. And some of the things that we have done here in Milwaukee, and we see other Jamaats are trying to do things about serving the community, and I believe is, as a religious leader or a religious organization, I feel it's our obligation to serve the community. And this is what the Milwaukee Jamaat has been doing. So over the past month, we've been feeding people in some of the senior citizen homes, some of the homeless shelters. We've been giving out masks. There is a initiative here to try to give out 2.5 million masks in metropolitan Milwaukee. And there's a organization called Mask Up Milwaukee. And the first batch of masks that we got, we had to assemble ourselves, and then we distributed those. So now they've gotten volunteers have all around the city have gotten some of these masks, and they bring them out to organizations like ourselves, and then we would distribute them, wherever they're needed, to law enforcement, first responders, being the fire department, frontline workers, things of that nature, and to the public. So this is what we've been doing. And, the National Guard has been called in here in Wisconsin to do COVID-19 testing. So we, this past Saturday, we actually fixed some food and took it over to them. And they were really delighted to get some hot food because, they were eating mostly cold stuff. So when I told them this is some hot food and who we were, they were really happy. And the guy said, so I'm in the Muslim community. And I said, yes, so, but this is the things that we're doing around in the community. And our doors are open Monday through Sunday, and I tried to accommodate the times for people because, some people work Monday through Friday. Then you got those who work some Saturdays and Sundays. I try to find hours that is to accommodate people like that morning, noon time, and then that afternoon, evening time to come by to get mass, or if they want to come in and sit down and talk with us. But with the pandemic, we haven't been able to really sit down and talk like do some of the things we normally do during Ramadan. But we have a normal iftar dinner, and people, elected officials and people of that nature would come in and sit down and talk with us and experience what Ramadan is all about. We had a virtual program where we had some speakers from the community. We had Kevin Stewart, who's a reverend from the Episcopal Diocese, who spoke. We had Pardeep Singh, I can't pronounce his last name, forgive me, but he's from the Sikh community. He spoke. We had one of the senators, Latanya Johnson, spoke, and they talked about some of the things that we as the Ahmadiyya Muslim community are doing to enhance our community, to make the community better. And again, I think those are the things that we as a religious organization should be doing.
Well, this is amazing, and the work you're doing, and you are helping a lot of people. And before actually starting the show, you were talking about cookies too. Like you have provided a lot of cookies to the kids, and they were so excited. So tell us a little bit about that campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, with normally here in America, we have the Girl Scouts that, and this is the time of the year they go out and sell the cookies. But with the pandemic, they couldn't get out and sell the cookies. So Summerfield United Methodist Church, who is headed by Pastor Lynn Hines Levy, and myself, who do a lot of work together, we partnered together, and they donated us over 1,000 cases, not just boxes, but cases of cookies. And so, and each box probably carries anywhere between 12 to 15 packs of cookies in them. So we distributed out, I don't know how many, but we still got a whole bunch, because we gave a whole bunch of cases, like 300 down to Chicago East Jamaat, 200 to the Zion Jamaat. So we distributed those out between those Jamaat so they can distribute some of them. And then ones in Chicago, actually, we did a potato chip, exchange for the cookies. So they're going to bring me some of the chips up here, and we've got the cookies set aside for them to give to them so they can distribute them down there. But again, we would truly appreciate the Girl Scouts of America giving us these cookies to donate. And what happened, people were pulling up Saturday, and when they found out it was free, they were shocked. And it was funny because I told people I would be there at 11, and I got there about 4 minutes late, and there was already 2 cars there sitting waiting on me for the cookies and for the mass, because I told them we got cookies and mass that we would be giving out to people in the public. So yeah, but they were just so happy to get them. And then anytime when you hear something free, that is just a bonus.
Well, this is pretty amazing. Hassiem, also I can see the badge on your shirt actually, and it says 100 years. So tell us a little bit about the badge, and like what is about 100 years?
Well, this is the centennial celebration of Islam Ahmadiyyat here in the United States. Mufti Muhammad Sadiq, may Allah be pleased with him, arrived on the shores here in Philadelphia on February the 15th of 1920. And that is when the first Islamic organization was started here. The Ahmadiyya in Islam is the oldest Islamic organization here in America. Leaders from, like the Nation of Islam and the Moorish Science Temple of America, they actually got their start from Mufti Muhammad Sadiq, who taught these individuals. But this is what this is. I wear this button around, and people see it. What's this 100-year thing? And I started telling them about that. They said, wow, And it was a time, it's funny because even me, myself, who had accepted mainstream Islam in 1988, I didn't run across the Ahmadiyya movement in Islam until 2002. It's when, and it was a show called Islam Live that I actually stream now on Facebook. And it was done by my mentor and my Abba, Alhaj Rashid Ahmed, American, may Allah be pleased with him, and Alhaj Dr. Muhammad Sabir, may Allah be pleased with him also. These were the individuals that was on this show. And this is how I found out about this organization. And when I was part of mainstream Islam and I left and I joined the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, people asked me, well, why did you leave here to go to there? And I tell them what I said. I prayed to Allah. I said, because there was some things going on at the mosque I belonged to that I didn't like. So when I prayed, I said, Allah, guide me to a mosque among pious and righteous individuals. Came home one day, turned my TV on, happened to go across public access TV, and I seen this show, Islam Live by the Ahmadiyya Movement in Islam. And I said, who are these guys? Every question I asked, Alhaj Rashid Ahmed was able to answer. And when I started going to the mosque for 2 years before I signed by it, he sat me down like I was a 5-year-old kid and taught me. I love the way he taught because he would bring it down to a level that you could understand. And I always asked him, I said, why do you teach that way? He said, because I'm in a room and you've got, I don't care if I've got a room of 100 people, 99 of them are rocket scientists. One of them is the everyday common guy who couldn't understand the level of the rocket scientist. I have to bring those rocket scientists down to his level because they're going to understand. But if I try to take him up to their level, he's not going to understand. So that is the beauty of being mentored by him. And, you know, he was also the first missionary here in the United States from, you know, he went over to Pakistan, became a missionary, and he came back and he served and was taught under the second Khalifa. May Allah be pleased with him. So being a student of Alhaj Rashid Ahmed, it's so many blessings in that, you know, and I've gotten my zeal from him because he was called Mr. Tabligh. He was always looking for a reason or that opportunity to Tabligh. I used to sit down and observe and look at him, and I watched even in his demeanor how he sat and looked. It was an act of Tabligh. He didn't say nothing, but it was something that would draw people to him, and they would look. And years later, I would say they would look and say, "That guy got a lot of wisdom. I can go and ask him anything," and they could come and ask him anything, and he would be able to answer. But he always found a way to turn that into being able to Tabligh about Islam. It would be a simple question, something like, man, is the Green Bay Packers going to win that football game today? And that's how the conversation would start. But in the end, it turned into Islam. And the person would be so amazed how he would turn a conversation from football into Islam and showing how living your life, even as a football player, still leads back to Islam. It was just so beautiful.
Well, that's an amazing perspective, and like how he start his conversation from sports, because sports is the best, I think, place or like the thing to start, because maybe you might have, you know, like a hobby for soccer or basketball or something like that. So this is amazing. Hassiem, so we will come back to the conversation regarding Ramadan, because this is Ramadan going on, and people really do fasting for 30 days. So tell us, like, you know, what is the purpose of fasting? Like, how did Ramadan started? So little bit the background on Ramadan.
Okay, well, you know, we know that Ramadan was first started when the angel Gabriel came to the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and started revealing the Holy Quran to him. And he was going out on a retreat on the mountain. And when he used to be out there in the mountain, it was during the month of Ramadan when it was hot. And the angel came to him and said, read. And he said, I can't read. And he said, again, read. And he said, I still can't read. And again, when he said it the third time, he began to read, he started to recite. And that is when he started to fast, and when all the pillars of Islam started being revealed to him. As in Al-Baqarah, when it says, you know, it actually says, O ye who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may guard against evil. So this is one of the reasons, but some of the other reasons, you know, that we fast, it's spiritual enlightenment, reflection, self-improvement, but more than anything, it is a sacrifice that we make for Allah. You know, we don't do it for ourselves. This is something we say we're going to sacrifice for Allah. We want to please Him. See, Allah doesn't have to do anything for us, but we want to please Him because He does everything for us. You know, He is the sustainer and the provider of everything in the heavens and earth. That is in His entire universe. So this is why we say we want to fast. But again, one of the things that Ramadan gives us a chance to do is experience hunger. You know, there are, in a world of 7 billion people, you probably got 3 to 4 billion people probably don't even get to eat every day. And those of us who can sit down and eat anytime we want to, we don't experience that hunger. But for the sake of Allah, we say, I want to experience hunger. So from sunrise to sunset, we go without eating, we go without drinking, we abstain from sexual relationships with our wives, you know, those who may smoke cigarettes, you know, don't smoke, you know, nothing goes into your body. You know, you put nothing in there and you fast for the sake of Allah. That is the beauty of fasting, but it has a lot of health benefits too, because it allows you to clean cleanse your system, when you start fasting. All those toxins and things like that are in your body. You have a chance to release all those toxins, to get all that out of your body. You cleanse yourself, and then even your spirit, your soul. You have a chance to get rid of all of those bad things that you're doing, on a regular basis during the year. You have a chance to get rid of all those things. We always say Ramadan is like boot camp, like it's a training for the rest of the year, like in boot camp or exhibition season or training camp in sports. You go there, you practice, and then when you get through practice, okay, now the regular season starts, and you do that all year round. So this is what we see Ramadan as a type of a boot camp. So we start these activities during Ramadan, say things we say, okay, I want to stop doing this, I want to stop doing this, I want to do more of this, like I want to make prayers more often, especially at prescribed time. So now during Ramadan, when you hear the call to prayer go off, you stop and say, I'm going to go pray. Whereas when it's not Ramadan, a lot of persons say, well, I heard the call to prayer go off, I got time. And then before he know it, the next prayers came in, and now he's combining prayers, or he said, man, I missed that prayer because I did this or I did that. So that is the beauty of Ramadan. And then again, when the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he used to go retreat for Ramadan, this is the things he wanted to do. It was for spiritual enlightenment. It was for getting closer to Allah, strengthening that personal relationship. And this is all the things that we want to do during the month of Ramadan.
Yeah, well, beautifully defined about the Ramadan, like the purpose of Ramadan. And as you mentioned, it's like a camp for a month, like where you refresh yourself or become more righteous. And when you were talking about, fasting, so one of the purposes, like, to get rid of evil things and but what is the, what is the criteria behind like not eating food, not drinking water? Why Muslim people do that?
Well, again, this is all for the sake of Allah. This, and again, it allows us to experience hunger. See, so again, like Allah said, I've not created the men and the jinn but to worship me. So this is our purpose. It's obedience. We're being obedience to Allah because this is the month of Ramadan, and there's a set things that we should do. So these are the things we try to abide by. We try to do these things. So, and now say if an individual has health conditions, diabetes or sickness, he or she doesn't have to fast, but what they have to do, they have to feed a family. The going rate to feeding a family is $5 a day. And some people say, wow, that's not much, $5 a day. And it's really not. But then when you look at it over the 30-day period, that's $150. So if you pay the fitrana for $150, you can really truly feed a whole family for a whole month off $150. So, and again, that is the beauty, of Ramadan also, where for those who can't fast, they still get the blessings as if they had fasted.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. And thanks for clarification. The other thing, like when we are talking about that, is it mandatory for everyone? So what is the age criteria? Like when people usually start fasting?
Well, you really want to feel like the call to prayer goes off, like right here, it goes off right now. It's going off at 3:43 in the morning. Okay, so I'll get up, and then before I start my fast, I'll eat me something. And then within about 20 or 30 minutes, serve comes in, which means you should stop eating. And then from then I'll make my prayers, and then I start my fast. So right now, sunset here is 8:10 p.m. So I'm going to be fasting for roughly 16, almost 16 and a half hours that I'm going to be fasting. So then when the sun set, I'm able to eat and I'm able to drink. Now, it's important for people to understand that, like in places like Africa, I can remember when I was in Ghana or Saudi Arabia, places that are right near the equator, you almost have equal amount of daylight and sunset. So there, you're probably looking at only 12 hours of fasting, So yeah. Then when you get closer to the poles where, let's say you got a 20-hour day and only a 4-hour night because it's so much. But then what happened, they say you use the 16 and 8-hour rule for fasting. So you should fast 16 hours and then 8 hours you should be able to eat, because it's almost impossible for a person to say, I'm going to fast for 20 hours. Now I got 4 hours. Or you get up in Alaska, totally up near the poles where you got complete sunlight, or during the wintertime when Ramadan falls back during the winter, you got complete darkness. So you're saying the person don't have to fast? No, they still have to fast. But that's again when that 16 and 8 rule comes in to effect, where you say I'll fast for 16 hours and then the 8 hours I won't fast.
Yeah. Well, I do have another question, because when we are talking about the timing of the fasting, one main issue or one main question actually arises regarding workplaces, because sometimes there are some hard work, some people working outside, and those are construction works and like very physical demanding work. So is it really mandatory, like when they're working really physical work, and maybe it might be dangerous for their health? So tell us a little bit about that too.
So again, this is where Allah makes it easy for you. You never put yourself in a situation where it's going to cause harm to you. And if you know it's going to really cause harm to you, you can break your fast, because Allah is not going to say kill yourself for me. So those are some of the things that Allah allows to happen. But this is why it's important to hydrate yourself. If I'm a construction worker, and you're working out there in the sun, you're going to be hot. So you know how you have to eat to sustain yourself. And I can go back to the year, I want to say it was 2011. Because I think Ramadan was during the summer, I know one year, and I think it was 2011, 2012, and it was around in August. And I was working on a cell phone tower. It was 103 degrees here in Milwaukee. Wow. And I was with me and a young man, we was working on a cell phone tower outside. And he looked at me and he's like, brother, are you thirsty? And I told him I'm fasting. I watched him drink. We continued to work. He drank more. But at the end of that day, he said, brother, I have so much respect for you. He said, not once did you stop. Did you say you were thirsty? I said, I got a little thirsty. I said, but what I did is I prayed to Allah to say, give me the strength to complete my fast. And that's why when, the night before, when we say, I'm going to fast for you the next day, and then when we get ready to start the fast, we tell Allah, I'm fast for you. And we pray and we ask Allah to give us the knowledge, the wisdom, and the guidance to be able to complete the fast without hurting ourselves. And Allah knows best. He knows what we need and what we don't need. And that's why I tell people, again, it's how you put the food in your body before you start fasting that's going to be able to carry that food for the whole day. Like you say, with a construction worker, he know that he's going to be out there exerting a lot of energy. So the main thing is to drink a lot of fluids. You don't have to eat a lot of food, but a lot of fluids that is going to hydrate you. Get Gatorade or water. You don't want no sodas and all that sweet, sugary stuff, because that is going to drain you during the day. So, you gotta know how to eat to live, or how to eat to fast. That is very, very important. And I can recall the first time I ever fast, the first year I ever fast, after about 2 weeks, I was so hungry one of those days, I had to break my fast because I had not learned how to fast. Nobody sat me down and said, Babatu, don't eat a full course meal, because I was like a glutton. You eat a lot of food. By 12 o'clock, you're so hungry, like, man, I'm starving. I ate a lot of food, but why? But your body burns that up. And what I learned is that when you eat a little, your body knows, I got to take this and sustain this to get him through the day, but I'll drink a lot. So I drank a lot, and that it just made my fast so much easier. Like now, being retired, even before I retired, what I would do, I would eat 2 dates, drink me some mango juice, and always drink a bottle of water. And those was some of most of the time, that is what I'm drinking. Sometimes I eat 2 or 3 oranges, some yogurt or some grain, some fruits and grains, stuff like something light, but always 1 or 2 bottles of water with some mango juice and black seed oil. Those are the things that get me through.
Yeah, well, thank you for clarification on that part. And again, like hydrate yourself, or drinking a lot of water so that you can survive for all day. Tell us a little bit about, because in the beginning you talk about fast with Muslim friends, or like breaking fast, like you really invite before pandemic, like a lot of people to the mosque. So tell us, like, how do you break your fast, and what type of food you eat?
Well, it varies, with us being a very diverse, mosque with individuals from Pakistan, India, the Caribbean, Africa, us of African Americans. It would be a variety of food. So it depends on, I know at one time the Ziyafat secretary, who is the one who cooks the food, he was diverse in cooking every food that you could think of. And
Wow.
sometimes that's what he would do. He have a little bit of Pakistani food, a little bit
Uh,
of Indian food, a little bit of African food, a little bit of
wow.
Caribbean food. And so it would just be, and that would really be a feast, especially when it come to Eid al-Fitr, it would really be a feast. But then sometime we would say, okay, the Pakistanis say, we're going to cook the food this weekend. So they would bring the food. Then the Indians would say, okay, the next weekend is our food. So the Indians would bring theirs. Then the next weekend, the Africans and the Caribbeans would say, we'll cook the food. And then it would be the African Americans who say, we'll cook the food. So out of the 4
Nice.
weekends, you would have a diverse, different members bringing the food. And that would always be Saturday and Sunday. Now, days through the week, you know, I know me and some of the brothers, we would go there and we would just buy some food. We would bring the food in. Friday after Juma, we would say how many people are coming so we would know what kind of food to go out and get to bring in. But Saturday and Sunday, the whole Jamaat as a whole would always be there.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. And then it's like a similar to the concept of potluck, bringing food,
Yes,
sharing food, and eating food together.
exactly.
I really like that concept. I hope I will visit you guys sometime and eat delicious food in different part of the world.
I pray Allah makes it so.
I mean, now we will be talking more about actually after Ramadan because we can talk about there are three different parts of Ramadan. It's called
Right.
Ashura actually. So tell
Yes.
us a little bit about that, and then we will move forward for Eid celebration, which will be happening soon.
The first 10 days of Ramadan is mercy. It's about Allah showing his mercy on us. So, and we see why he is merciful as we look at, his name, Rahim, which is merciful. And he shows his mercy and we ask him to have mercy on us, and we constantly pray and we do the things and he shows us why he is merciful. Like for instance, think about, I don't know in Canada if they charge you for air to put air in your car tires. Like here in America, I remember as a kid, you used to be able to get air and put it in your bicycle car for free. Now it costs $1 just to get air. Imagine if Allah charged us for air. Everybody would be we're already indebted to him, but just think how much money we would owe Allah if it cost $1 for a little bit speck of air. Just think how much air you breathe in every day. So that is his mercy, so he's showing us his mercy. So we have to thank him for that mercy. And that is the first part. The second one is forgiveness, and again, he is forgiven Al-Ghafar, who is the forgiver. So we ask him to forgive us because no man on this earth today is not without shortcomings. We all have our faults. So we ask Allah to forgive us those faults. And again, this is why during Ramadan, we try to break those habits, the bad habits that we have, but we still ask him to forgive us when we go out and do those things. And then the third part, which is, where we're in right now, which is the actual decree of Allah. And we look at it and we put the mercy and the forgiveness and everything all together. And we say, everything is for Allah. And this is why we say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. There's none worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger.
Okay, now I will be talking about COVID-19 too, because it's actually impacting a lot of people during Ramadan because maybe, like you were celebrating Ramadan in a different way. And then the last 10 days, actually, people they sit in the mosque too, and they spend days and night in the prayers. So how do you see, this pandemic is affecting Ramadan or what you're missing actually from the previous years?
Well, the biggest thing we're missing is, coming to the mosque for iftar and coming for congregational prayers. The blessings is 27 times greater to make prayers in the mosque and congregation than at home. That is the truly biggest things that we're missing is us getting together as a Jamaat. Now, what else it has done is even outside of the mosque, we as Muslims, when I see you, my brother, I see my brother Rashid, we're going to embrace. Assalamu alaikum, my brother, we're going to hands, we're going to hug, we're going to be happy to see. We can't do that right now. So, we have to do it. How we've been kind of like hitting elbows, assalamu alaikum, brother.
Yeah.
This is what it has done. And this is going to be almost the new norm for a while. Unfortunately, it's what we're going to be doing is what we're doing right now. These are some of the biggest things that is affecting. And then bringing people into the mosque, because during Ramadan, we have more visitors that want to come in and take part and see what's going on in the mosque. I've got friends all around the world right now who are not Muslims, who are fasting. And they said they're enjoying this journey. They're absolutely loving it. They've never fasted before. Some have fasted before with me, but some, who became new Facebook friends who've taken this journey with me, and I applaud them for going on this journey and taking this journey. And they're seeing that the benefits that Ramadan is doing for them right now. But again, with COVID-19, these individuals can't come to the mosque right now. So we're doing things from afar, but they're still, finding it within themselves, the strength and the motivation to be able to keep the fast.
Well, yeah, like it is actually impacting most of the things. Like the life has been changed, work has been changed, and I hope and pray that we will be able to get rid of this pandemic as soon as possible. And I will request you like to keep everyone in your prayers too. And again, this is a blessing month, which is the month of Ramadan. So we can pray more that we can get rid of this pandemic. Okay, Brother Hassiem. So I have a question now about, we were talking about organization in America or USA. It's called PAMA, African organization, PAMA. So tell us a little bit about that organization.
Okay, PAMA is the Pan-African Ahmadiyya Muslim Association. And it was the vision of our beloved Khalifa, Hazrat Mirza Mashiach Ahmed, Khalifa Masih V. May Allah continue to strengthen his hand, grant him long life, good health, and give him the knowledge to lead mankind on his quest for peace. At one time, we had the African-American desk, you had the Ghanaian desk, you had the Nigerian desk, you had all these people of the African diaspora who had their own separate desks, like you had the Arab desk, the Urdu desk, and there was all these ethnic groups had their separate desks. What he's seen the vision and the wisdom said, let's put all of these who are of the African diaspora under one umbrella, which is PALMA. And when we launched PALMA a few years ago, Abdul Dibba, he was the first president. Now, Dr. Bashir Rodney out of St. Louis, he became the president last year in October. I'm sorry, in July, he took over as president. So like say, Dibba served for 2 years, now he has become the president. And what PALMA is doing is some of the same things you see we do, but we try to do it within the African-American neighborhoods or within the African neighborhoods, because it's easier for me to communicate with another African-American or for a Ghanaian to communicate with a Ghanaian or a Nigerian with a Nigerian. So we send these individuals into these neighborhoods to do the tabligh with these individuals, because he's going to understand, we're going to understand each other's culture, each other's lifestyle better than, like say if they send a Pakistani in there, he may not, it's some things he's not going to understand about culture. Even if you send an Indian in there, send somebody of European descent in there, they're not going to understand that individual's cultures like somebody of the African diaspora would. And that is why PALMA was created. And some of the things we're doing, I know what PALMA, we went to Qadian and we shot something. And that's why I told my story about, how I came to Islam Ahmadiyya. And I know they had it on Africa MTA for a while. It was running, and every now and then it comes up on there. But this is the reason why PALMA was created. And PALMA, every Jamaat doesn't have a PALMA because some of them may only have 1 or 2 Africans or African Americans there. And some of the larger Jamaats, like Milwaukee, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Miami has one, Atlanta, New York. I know the Bronx and Brooklyn both, have PALMAs there. Dayton, Ohio, Baltimore, so it's some of the Philadelphia, I can't leave them out. So some of the bigger Jamaats that have a huge contingent of African Americans and Africans, people of the African diaspora, these are the ones who have PALMA. But any Jamaat that has one that really wants to start a PALMA, all it takes is one individual to say, hey man, we want to establish PALMA here, and that's all it takes.
Oh, cool. Thank you for telling us about this association. And as I mentioned that the last part will be regarding Eid celebration, because now we are in the ending of Ramadan. So after Ramadan, Muslim people actually celebrate, which is Eid celebration. So tell us a little bit about Eid celebration and what's the purpose of this celebration.
Well, Eid al-Fitr commemorates the ending, it's the breaking of the fast, and that's what it is. Eid means happy celebration, happy festival. That's basically what it is. And this is where individuals come out. You have all the different cooked food. The kids get gifts, and it's not like Christmas time when you're going out buying toys. You buy things that are significant for them, like books, maybe clothing, some things that is going to enhance them, help them in knowledge, help them in their religious, studies. It may be a gift as a Quran, like a gift I got from my uncle Haji Khalid Wallet and my dear auntie Anissa Wallet. They made me a beautiful, and it was a set of prayers. It is what it is, the 30 prayers that we pray during Ramadan, the prayer that we recite before you fast, the one that after you break your fast, and then the prayer that you recite during the night of decree. It's a very beautiful, laminated, in plastic and everything, the cards that she gave me. So those are the kind of gifts that we give during Ramadan. But, everybody gets together, and have such a beautiful feast. And again, Ramadan is another time where with us, our Jamaat being so diverse, we have all these different types of food. I can remember one year when I had somebody catered African-American food. The Africans cooked some of their food at home. Again, the Pakistanis cooked some, the Indians cooked, and everybody brought all this food to the mosque. And we know we got 300 people in our Jamaat. We said, we want everybody, if everybody want to taste a little something, so you got to have enough for everybody. Yeah, and it was so much, of course, there's so much food left that everybody gets to take plates home.
Awesome. Well, again, Eid celebration is more about happiness. So one common question, actually, like my fellows colleagues also ask, like how to greet people on the Eid celebration.
Well, we say Eid Mubarak. I say Eid Mubarak. And you say Eid Kareem. So Eid Mubarak, again, it means happy festival, and then I'm saying and happy festival to you. When I say it in return.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brother Hassiem, for your time. And we really enjoyed your conversation. Any last word you want to share with us?
Well, again, for those who don't know who the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is, I'm humbly requesting that you go to alislam.org or go to muslimsforpeace.org. You can find out who we are. There's trueislam.com. And what we have a series of 11 questions. And you can look at these questions. And if you agree with them, endorse these right here. So this has been going on for probably the last 4 or 5 years. And again, there is going to be an Ahmadiyya Muslim community somewhere near you. We're in 213 countries. The Promised Messiah alayhi salam said that Allah said, that revealed to him, I will cause thy message to reach the corners of the earth. I witnessed that firsthand when I went to Qadian back in 2017. I made Hajj, then I went to Qadian right after. And there was an individual, he was 84 years old. He looked at my ID and he turned it around, he said USA, and tears began to roll out of his eyes. He said, the prophecy has been fulfilled. These are individuals who are in India, like they said, and I think about what it was like in Qadian back in 1889 when he made this. This was a wilderness. We didn't have TVs, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have fax machines, we did not have the technology we have today. For this message to spread the corners of the earth. So Allah makes sure that his message has gotten out to the corners of the earth. So I tell you, if you want to know more about true Islam, the most dynamic, most versatile, diverse Muslim community here on planet Earth, go to our website and find out who we are.
Well, thank you very much again, brother. And we hope to see you again. We will be doing a live show actually on Eid celebration. And this show will be on Saturday. And overtime will be at 10 a.m. and your time will be 11 a.m. I hope you will join with us and we will celebrate Eid celebration together.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for having me on the show. Please extend my Ramadan Mubarak, and I'll give everybody a early Eid Mubarak there in Canada.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Bye-bye.